San Gimignano is a small walled medieval hill town in the province of Siena, Tuscany, north-central Italy. Known as the town of fine towers, San Gimignano is famous for its medieval architecture. Within the walls, the well-preserved buildings include notable examples of both Romanesque and Gothic architecture, with outstanding examples of secular buildings as well as churches. The Palazzo Comunale, the Collegiate Church and Church of Sant'Agostino contain frescoes, including cycles dating from the 14th and 15th centuries. The historic center of San Gimignano is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The town also is known for the white wine, Vernaccia di San Gimignano, produced from the ancient variety of Vernaccia grape which is grown on the sandstone hillsides of the area. History. In the 3rd century BC, a small Etruscan village stood on the site of San Gimignano. Chroniclers Lupi, Copper and Peccari relate that during Catiline conspiracy against the Roman Republic in the 1st century, two patrician brothers, Muzio and Silvio, fled Rome for Valdelsa and built two castles, Muccio and Silvia. The name of Silvia was changed to San Gimignano in 450 AD after the saint of Modena. Bishop Gimignanus intervened to spare the castle from destruction by the followers of Attila the Hun. As a result, a church was dedicated to the saint, and in the 6th and 7th centuries a walled village grew up around it, subsequently called the Castle of San Gimignano, or Castle of the Forest because of the extensive woodland surrounding it. From 929, the town was ruled by the bishops of Volterra. In the Middle Ages and Renaissance era, it was a stopping point for Catholic pilgrims on their way to Rome and the Vatican, as it sits on the medieval Via Francigena. The city's development was also improved by the trade of agricultural products from the fertile neighboring hills, in particular, saffron, used in both cooking and dyeing cloth, and Vernaccia wine, said to inspire popes and poets. In 1199, the city made itself independent from the bishops of Volterra and established a podesta, and set about enriching the commune with churches and public buildings. However, the peace of the town was disturbed for the next 2 centuries by conflict between Guelphs and Ghibellines, and family rivalries. This resulted in families building tower houses of increasing height. Towards the end of the medieval period they were 72 in number and up to 70 meters tall. The rivalry was finally restrained when it was ordained by the council that no tower was to be taller than that adjacent to the Palazzo Comunale. While the official patron is Saint Gimignanus, the town also honors Saint Fina, known also as Serafina and Serafina, who was born in San Gimignano 1238 and whose feast day is the 12th of March. The chapel of Santa Fina in the Collegiate Church houses her shrine and frescoes by Ghirlandaio. The house said to be her home still stands in the town. On the 8th of May 1300, San Gimignano hosted Dante Alighieri in his role of ambassador of the Guelph League in Tuscany. The city flourished until 1348, when it was struck by the Black Death that affected all of Europe, and about half the townsfolk died. The town submitted to the rule of Florence. Initially, some Gothic palazzo were built in the Florentine style, and many of the towers were reduced to the height of the houses. There was little subsequent development, and San Gimignano remained preserved in its medieval state until the 19th century, when its status as a touristic and artistic resort began to be recognized. Description: the city is on the ridge of a hill, with its main axis being north-south. It is encircled by 3 walls and has at its highest point, to the west, the ruins of a fortress dismantled in the 16th century. There are 8 entrances into the city, set into the second wall, which dates from the 12th and 13th centuries. The main gates are Porta San Giovanni on the ridge extending south, Porta San Matteo to the northwest, and Porta S. Jacopo to the northeast. The main streets are Via San Matteo and Via San Giovanni, which cross the city from north to south. At the heart of the town are 4 squares. the Piazza Duomo, on which stands the Collegiate Church, the Piazza della Cisterna, the Piazza Peccari and the Piazza dell'Erba. To the north of the town is another significant square, Piazza Agostino, on which stands the Church of Sant' Agostino. The locations of the Collegiate Church and Sant' Agostino's and the piazzas effectively divide the town into two regions. Architecture. The town of San Gimignano has many fine examples of Romanesque and Gothic architecture, as well as churches and medieval fortifications. There are notable examples of Romanesque secular and domestic architecture which may be distinguished from each other by their round and pointed arches, respectively. A particular feature, which is typical of the region of Siena, is that the arches of openings are depressed, with doorways often having a second low arch set beneath a semicircular or pointed arch. Both Romanesque and Gothic windows sometimes have a bifurcate form, with two openings divided by a stone mullion under a single arch. Piazzas. Piazza della Cisterna. This piazza, entered from via San Giovanni, is the main square of the town. It is triangular in shape and is surrounded by medieval houses of different dates, among them some fine examples of Romanesque and Gothic palazzos. At the center of the piazza stands a well which was the main source of water for the town's residents. The structure dates from 1346. Although much of it has been renewed in the late 20th century, parts of the paving date from the 13th century. Piazza Duomo. This piazza is to the north of Piazza della Cisterna and is connected by a passage adjacent to an open loggia. To the west, at the top of the square, stands the Collegiate Church, reached by a broad flight of steps. The name of the square would seem to imply that this church was at one time a cathedral, but although it was perhaps planned, this was not the case. Other important buildings on the square include the Palazzo Comunale and the Palazzo Podesta, the house of the mayor. The Palazzo Podesta is distinguished by its huge arched loggia towers, while in other cities, such as Florence, most or all of their towers have been brought down due to wars, catastrophes, or urban renewal. San Gimignano has managed to conserve 14 towers of varying heights, for which it is known internationally. Campanili della Collegiata, Torri degli Ardinghelli, Tor dei Becchi, Tor Campitelli, Tor Chigi, Tor dei Cugnanesi, Tor del Diavolo, Tor Fisciarelli or Ficcarelli, Tor Grossa, 54 meters, Tor di Palazzo Pellari, Casa Tor Pesciolini, Tor Pettini, Tor Rognosa, 51 meters, Torri dei Salvucci. Churches. There are many churches in the town. The two main ones are the Collegiata, formerly a cathedral, and Sant'Agostino, housing many artworks from early Italian Renaissance artists. Civic buildings. The Communal Palace, once seat of the Podesta, is currently home of the town gallery, with works by Pinturicchio, Benozzo Gozzoli, Filippino Lippi, Domenico di Michelino, Pier Francesco Fiorentino and others. From Dante's Hall in the palace, access may be made to a Maestà fresco by Lippo Memma, as well as the Tor del Podesta or Tor Grossa, 1311, which stands 54 meters high. Culture. San Gimignano is the birthplace of the poet Folgore da San Gimignano. A fictionalized version of San Gimignano is featured in E. M. Forster's 1905 novel, Where Angels Fear to Tread, as Monteriano. Tea with Mussolini, a 1999 drama about the plight of English and American expatriate women in Italy during World War II, was filmed in part at San Gimignano. The frescoes that the women saved from being destroyed during the German army's withdrawal are inside the Duomo, the town's main church. Franco Zeffirelli used San Gimignano as a stand-in for the town of Assisi in his 1972 St. Francis of Assisi biopic Brother Sun, Sister Moon. Most of the Assisi scenes were filmed here. In the novel The Broker by John Grisham, Joel Bachman takes his second of three wives on vacation in Italy to keep her from divorcing him. They rent a 14th-century monastery near San Gimignano for a month. M.C. Escher's 1923 woodcut, San Gimignano, depicts the celebrated towers. A 15th-century version of the town is featured in the 2009 video game Assassin's Creed 2. Located in the heart of the city, the Museum San Gimignano 1300 offers a massive reconstruction of the city as it existed 700 years ago. Architects, historians, and a team of artists worked nearly 3 years to create this spectacular and unprecedented exhibition. This exhibit includes 800 meticulously handcrafted structures, 72 towers, street scenes, and figurines. International relations. Twin towns. San Gimignano is twinned with Český Krumlov, Czech Republic, Meersburg, Germany, Mesha, Georgia. Gallery. Torture G. Towers of San Gimignano, showing Romanesque house. Street in San Gimignano. Vines on ruins in San Gimignano. Street in San Gimignano. Church in San Gimignano. Panorama of San Gimignano. Bastion San Francesco, San Gimignano. Salvucci Towers, San Gimignano. Panorama of San Gimignano Towers. View from Tor Grossa Tower. Piazza della Cisterna.